Welcome to our weekly Christ in Our Neighborhood conversation where Joyce and I break open Sunday's Gospel with Bishop John. Everything you need to do this with family and friends is on the Diocese of Phoenix website at dphx.org. Welcome back, Bishop.
It's always great to see the two of you, and in this new setting, really, this is something.
Yeah. Isn't it great? Well, and this week we're going to hear from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, verses 25 to 37. So, Bishop, could you start us off with the reflection?
Of course. Our gospel today on the great commands to love God with our whole heart, being, strength, and mind, and to love our neighbor and ourselves sums up our reason and purpose to embrace a mission with Christ.
A common thought is that we can pick our friends, but we can't pick our family. However, as Christians, we cannot even pick our friends. Jesus challenges us to see that we are unable to be selective when it comes to the question, who is my neighbor?
It is clear from the gospel that there was no love lost between Jews and Samaritans. At the time, Jesus presented this parable. However, for Christ, both Jews and Samaritans are loved equally, and both are equally redeemable. Redemption is for Jews, Samaritans, and all of humanity. The Lord is not selective. In Him, there is no Jew or Greek, slave or free, male or female. All are one in God's eyes, and all are loved. If God's love is boundless, there cannot be boundaries for us when it comes to love of neighbor.
All right, so Bishop, what is our question for this week?
Well, the question is, who is your neighbor? And we were talking about this just a little earlier about Mr. Rogers is one of them. But in truth, the neighbor, as we're listening to this gospel, must extend to those that we would not consider. I think this was something that Pope Francis focused on during his papacy, and Pope Leo is now doing the same, and that is to extend ourselves to the peripheries and to find people that we wouldn't often associate with. Jesus would often say, are we comfortable just inviting our the ones that we know to our homes? But what about those that we wouldn't normally bring to the home for, say, a dinner? It's a challenge, but it's a challenge worth taking up.
And there's so much to be gained from that. You know, I grew up in a neighborhood right next to the Catholic Church, and so everybody except that last house at the end of the block, they were all Catholic. And now in my neighborhood, you know, we have people of all different faiths. And if we were to discuss theology, we wouldn't agree on much of anything. But we share ladders, tools. We have a good game of one-upsmanship when it comes to Christmas lights and Hanukkah lights. And we pass out candy to the kids. We all sit at the one neighbor's house, you know, when it's Halloween. And we love each other. And I'm really grateful for the chance to live in a community where we are all so different. Because I think it's very easy, as Pope Francis was saying, as you alluded to love people that are like us or who would agree with us. But we have to stretch ourselves a little bit. And so that is, there's a richness there. And at the end of the day, the people that I disagree with or I have maybe strong disagreements with, they're made in the image and likeness of God, and I am called to love them, and that's what it is to be Christian, right? is to love others the way God loves them, to see them the way God loves them, and Jesus Christ gave His life for that person. Then that's good enough for me, right? Yeah. I need to love them too.
Yeah,
so.
That's right.
Well, similarly, I'm listening to the both of you, and what the word that keeps coming to me is the one I need to sacrifice for, and so that might look like the person who might demand a little bit more of my attention, and it might be uncomfortable, or somebody who might be unpleasant to be around but needs presence and needs love nonetheless. And so it got me thinking about those people in my life who might need a little bit more, and that selfishly I don't want to be around.
Right.
And so it's really kind of drawn me out, that word, you know, we can't have boundaries around our love. And so it's reminding me that I need to continue to push to be present to those who are sometimes hard to love. Yeah.
Great observations. Well, Bishop, what is our task for this week?
Well, if you found this series spiritually helpful to you, consider making an attempt to embrace the sacrament of reconciliation and the grace that comes with it. Perhaps you and your group would consider going to reconciliation together. This group, it would be, say, your Christ in Our Neighborhood group, or just your family. You might consider that, going to reconciliation this coming week, and then sharing a meal together, kind of bringing it to closure in praise and thanksgiving for abiding in the grace of Christ our Redeemer.
Oh, that's a wonderful challenge. Thank you, Bishop. We'll see you next week.
For more information on Christ in Our Neighborhood and resources to start your own group, visit the Christ in Our Neighborhood section at the Diocese of Phoenix website.